So clear. I see your own mail with a making sandwich. Yeah.
It would strengthen my interviews. What was okay, it's 6 o'clock. Stand for pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, a few opening remarks tonight. I want to take this opportunity to express my thanks to those who serve and continue to serve as lifeguards in our beach for our 2023 season, which closes August 30th, I believe. We've had some challenges this year with air quality issues and weather, but we continue to persevere and we'll go through the rest of the season. Also, our summer program is winding down. Last day is tomorrow for that summer program. We weren't even sure if we were going to be able to field this program this year with some of the challenges we had. It came to like a day or two before that we thought we were going to have to cancel it. So a lot of hard work and organization has been completed by the town staff and our partner agencies to make this year's a success. There's a lot of things that go along with the summer program, a lot of Department of Health requirements and guidelines and certification that are required to run a program like this. This is for the safety and the security of everyone involved. And with that in mind, I'd like to thank our interim recreational supervisor, Karina Woods, who stepped in at the last minute, which allowed the program to even begin. Thanks goes to the Ticonderoga Elementary School District and the cooks who were critical of the summer program because we can't even operate the program without these cooks. Finally, my thanks go to the counselors, the summer counselors. They were really the backbone of the program each day. They continue to be the backbone of the program until tomorrow. They're awesome individuals, and the residents are fortunate to have them in this program. And it's important to note that programs like this, the after-school program, the beach program, the seniors program, the senior bus, they all operate because of those who step up to become part of the solution. So we as the town can allocate all the funding we want to these programs, but it's the efforts of the counselors and the others who are the only reason why the town can even offer these programs to begin with. Without them, we have no programs. All right, I don't have any presentations tonight. We do have 3 public hearings on the books. Volunteer ambulance will continue, amendment of the peddler's ordinance, and a water district consolidation. I'm going to start with the volunteer ambulance firefighter. Property tax exemption, this is continued from last month. Where we stand now, all parties have provided their information to the town. That's been incorporated into the draft local law. haven't had sufficient time for the board to review this, this document yet, so I'm gonna move the actual adoption until the finance meeting this month. Or have any questions on what you've seen so far for that document from that local law? You do? Okay. Opening up the public hearing, or continuing the public hearing, does the public have any information or comments they'd like to make regarding this program? Goal again is to start it effective next year, and hopefully we can get this adopted at the finance meeting. So I'll table this public hearing until we get to that point for adoption. Second public hearing tonight is regarding amending the peddler's ordinance. So we'll open the public hearing now. I have a few comments before we get started. So there were some changes to the peddler's ordinance that we wanted to make, mostly in section 4 and section 9. Section 4 is a real kind of summary here. Section 4 was supposed to exempt people with established businesses if they wanted to set up events like the 4th of July and car show. So the wording has been changed to state that they're exempt if they sell from their own establishment. The ordinance should have specified that it did not exempt them from filing the permit in the corresponding paperwork. So that's language has been modified. Section 9, it was always the intent to charge the peddler's fee, and so that wording has been modified again. And then we had some last minute changes within the last day or so, which requires the board to have a little more time to review those before we adopt that. And I know you probably haven't seen those. There's a couple of changes in the ordinance that you haven't seen yet, so they just came in this morning. So I will make sure you get those out, and then we can get to the, I guess we can do this at the finance meeting. If we don't have time to do it at the finance meeting, we can move it to the next board meeting, but adopt it at that time. Any questions from the board on this? Any questions from the public or comments from the public on this? I will table this public hearing until we meet again at the finance meeting. Okay, last public hearing for tonight involves water district consolidation. Open the public hearing now. We're going to have a few comments. The only resolution that we're going to do this evening regarding this hearing is to endorse the joint consolidation agreement, which you have seen. So the water district consolidation will do two things. There has two parts to it. First, the consolidation of the districts and the extension. We will have additional public hearings that address those other actions required to complete that consolidation. In a nutshell, in a summary, the consolidation is to consolidate, and there is an implementation plan that consolidates all 8 districts. It does not involve capital improvement project to provide water to the service area, and the formation of the district is without additional debt and without any additional operations. The operations and maintenance will be whatever it requires now to run the current districts, nothing additional. There is a cost savings that can occur, mostly administrative staff time. And there is the consolidation also results in identifying some billing errors and omissions, which will result in some increased revenue. So there is a benefit to consolidating the districts. Before I go to the public, does the board have any questions where we are now in this process in terms of consolidation? We've been meeting with this.
Will that happen this year?
Yes, to do it this year. Anyone from the public?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yep.
What, 2 years ago, saying, you're gonna try to get us out on the water. We have everybody in the street road water district, or everything, that's what we got a letter on December 14th saying that the town was going to send something to the state legislature to get us people out of the water district that they have no infrastructure for. Did that ever happen?
This is the beginning of that process. This has completed, and then we'll make that motion in the legislative session next year.
Okay.
That's part of the plan.
So this, uh, even if we don't get one, we can still be billed.
You could. Yeah.
And that can be included in the new.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
Verbiage.
Yeah, you're not gonna pick up. There's no net change to your.
Now, also in here, it says that the town may decide to do this. Can you change it so the town will do it?
Yeah, we'd have to go back and look and see what the wording was on that.
Well,
Basically, the town said they may decide to do this letter to get us out.
I think part of this, Matt, you can confirm this, is because we don't know if the state legislature, I mean, it has to go through them. It's not something the town board can do, you just.
Can you at least say you will put the letter? This will be made.
Yeah. I suppose so, you know, I mean,
Okay. Change on the new consolidated form, it's going to be 90. Put it in that you will.
We could look at that, yeah.
we have it in the plan report.
Yeah, it says the town may decide to use the, it was to stay in the district. Or instead of may. But the town will.
Are you?
You're reading the letter, okay?
Oh,
Yeah, to get.
Oh, the town board can reissue it.
I think you meant.
It says maybe. Or to say.
Letter's already been issued though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. When I was reading that you did the new, so let me read this, if you're currently in the district, you got to do like, yeah, to get New York State. What's okay? Now, I'm reading this new consolidation, when you made it, there were some parcels that you didn't include it. And you even listed it on the council. There was on near Alpine Street, on near Alpine Street, on near Route 22. Why would you don't do that for those people who don't be there, and just include it? You could go to a big action, legislature, and change them.
I think part of the issue may be the fact that you are presently in the district.
Well, no, these are also. Oh, yeah, starting right here, only a very small amount of the property is located within the existing district boundaries. And only a small part of my property is located within the existing district boundary. And that's the thing we do. So if you make that exception for these three pieces, one gonna.
I think in the district, presently in the district, would have to go to the legislature to get passed, even if the property lines are drawn differently.
This side right here, it said this one is currently within the existing district.
Boundaries.
Right, district boundaries. So if they're in the district boundaries, this says they have to be part of the district. And this says you're letting them out of it.
It says the town may decide to contact issues to determine if they wish to stay in the district or consider for removal through the legislative process.
Right, but you don't.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. So they're in it, and if they want to stay in the district, we're basically saying it's up to you to stay in it.
The individual parcels are be part of the new district.
It would be if they elect to stay in it.
There should be out of the district.
It's,
Yeah.
we don't wish to stay in it. So if these three parcels don't want to be in
They're
it,
not part of the
they should have been
district.
here.
That would be the legislation.
That's what this says.
Yeah.
It says, right here.
The town meets, you determine if they would stay in the district or consider it for removal through the New York State legislation process.
So why did you guys think of these three specific tax maps and not our tax map?
I'd have to go back and look at the tax map to see what the,
Because you're the part of the group, Free Road, these are in a different part of town, so they're,
What difference is that?
because we identified the street road ones as its own group, and then we ended up had these three as separate. And that's what we didn't lose track of those three.
if anybody that's presently in the district or in the district boundaries will have to go through a legislative process to be removed. If they so wish to be removed. If they don't, then they can stay in the district. That would be their decision, but then they would start paying the fees, for water usage fees.
Not usage to that one.
Right.
Why were those three removed, Greg? Would you just,
They were different parts of the town.
Different parts of town and
Towns are mainly that were identified.
yeah, they only had small chunks of the whole piece that was.
If I recall correctly, I think the town had already heard from the people on your street that you wanted out. And they said, okay, we're.
Yeah, so I don't understand why you included these people specifically in this and not me.
You are included. You want to be out, right? Yeah, you're part of that. You would be part of that request.
But I'm saying these three particular pieces, for some reason you singled them out.
Because they weren't part of the street. You're.
Okay, so are you saying if for Country Road, where if you're not considered, you get special treatment?
It's not special treatment, it's just a way to identify those particular pieces that are inside, I believe they're all in the original village bound, which was one of the issues, I believe.
Just a name. And the town board came to a meeting and said, we shouldn't be in because we're not planned. I think at that time, we will include, not going to ask you again, not going to that not that we voted, hey, while we're doing this, you guys because well, I think you're not.
Do you ever get this, the paragraph that talks about Free Road is like, they don't need to, have that. These three are. Yeah, it's this we don't.
You say, because that's 2 years. 2 years, you said you're going to put it in.
It's been a process to get it consolidated and deal with the lines, and it's been a long process.
Sure.
and I'd like to be adjourned to this water district consolidation.
You have something to address the board with?
Yeah, well, I'm addressing the board. I think that we should say this. I will consolidation. Does it have anything to do with resources?
No.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with that. Okay. I want to put the benefit to the people.
Just one question.
Tell me what the benefit is to the people there.
As I read in the opening statement, there's some savings in administration time in billing.
Okay, to the administration, there's going to be no savings to the public at all, right? There's going to be.
That is incorrect.
It's incorrect.
That is incorrect.
Okay, tell me what is incorrect.
Well, the more efficiency you have, and if you're eliminating processes for the administration, they can do other things other than this. That saves money.
But then
You do understand that. You
I do.
claim you have a history in budgeting, so you must explain.
Mark, we get paid every week whether we're doing this or not doing anything. I'm asking you, what is the benefit and savings to the public?
And I just answered.
There isn't any.
No.
Okay,
You're
you're
incorrect. No, I'm not saying there is none. I'm saying you are incorrect.
Then you're incorrect by saying that we're going to save administrative costs because they're going to be paid every week whether they're here or not.
Okay. Well, if you had an understanding of what the finance department does
I do.
and the water department does, you would understand what their jobs entail and that this would be a savings.
Mark, I get it.
Okay, good.
But so this isn't really going to benefit the actual public. In other words, what we pay isn't going to change at this point. Any increases in the next budget, correct?
Unless you increase the revenue, you're not going to increase the billing.
Okay, that's what I want to ask. Now, the public hearings, okay, you're going to have 2 more hearings according to what I'm seeing here. You're going to have one in the morning, and you're going to have one in the afternoon. Key information, okay, notice of hearing requirements for establishment, extension of town special districts. Boundary descriptions, a description of the proposed improvements, which is a little bit of this. Maximum proposed to be expended for the improvement, the estimated cost of hookup fees, if any. Okay, cost of district extension to the typical.
Do you have a question, or are you just going to read from the
No,
document?
I'm listening, Mark, I'm listening this out to you, and then I'd like you to tell me, is this correct? Is this the information that we're going to be getting in the next 2 hearings?
It's written down. That is what we're going to be discussing.
Yes or no, we're going to be getting that information in the next 2 hearings?
That is what we're going to be
Yes,
discussing.
that was my question. Does this need state control or approval? When we're all done?
Not aware of it.
One more thing, let's see. So proposed, okay, put forward an idea or plan. So this is a proposal, this is proposed, correct?
Correct.
Okay. That's all I'm doing, thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Okay. There's no other questions. I'm going to close the public hearing on this endorsement action. We will have the additional 2 public hearings that will further discuss the actions as described at the finance meeting and the other one. And in addition to that, the next board meeting. All right, we'll continue. And with that, the public hearing's out of the way, we will get into committee reports, and we'll start with airport.
Are you going to be used to
Oh,
resolutions?
yeah. Thank you. So the first one, the first resolution that I have here is to endorse the joint consolidation agreement for the consolidation of water districts 9N and 74 water district SW1, Street Road Water District SW2, Alexandria Water District number 1 SW3, Homeland Water District SW4, Alexandria Water District number 2 SW5, Central Water District SW6, Park Avenue Water District SW7, and Shore Airport Road SW9. So the consolidation, if adopted, will consolidate the water districts for the current administrative and general building, would not consolidate currently existing individual debt of the districts, which debt would remain applicable solely to the individual districts. Having such debt and operations and maintenance expenses would be equally shared in the consolidated district. And I will I'll move that resolution.
Okay. Got it.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? The second is to set these public hearings for the upcoming dates. A resolution to schedule a public hearing on September 28th, 2023 at 8:30 a.m. and October 12th, 2023 at 6 p.m. to discuss the proposed consolidation of Town of Ticonderoga water districts as follows: 9974 SW1, Street Road SW2, Alexandria SW3, Homeland SW4, Alexandria SW5, Central SW6, Park Avenue SW7, and Shore SW9. Motion. I'll go there. Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Carried, none opposed. Thank you, Tony. And moving on to airport.
Held our meeting August 1st. Attendance, Mark Wright, Michelle Alexander, Alan Denton, Dave Woods, and Rosberg. We had a guest, Joyce Cooper, chairman of the Parks and Rec Committee. The Vice Investment Committee is the need for an adventure sign at the airport. Parks and Rec has the money for such a sign. The committee has no issue with the new sign. Joyce will investigate the content and report back to the committee at the next meeting, which is September 6th. Mark Wright reported that realignment schedule will be completed on the 10th of August. With their work, the Rec Committee will start resurfacing around the 14th of August. The schedule for them will complete their work is 24 working days, good weather permitting. The airport will be open this weekend at 11th through 15th. Anybody who wishes to use the airport. Alexander reported that we did sell 100 gallons of gas last month. Gas prices have come up, so we sell at a lesser price when the airport reopens. Also, the area around the windsock needs to be mowed. Weeds are getting a little too high, so that's just something with the grounds. Alan Densmore reported that he was able to establish the horizontal controls off the runway needed to be able to survey the north end of the runway. This will allow him to create a drawing to locate the trees that need to be removed. Salamo said they would cut them down. This will be submitted to the FAA when all trees are removed to hopefully reestablish the nighttime approach requirements. So the next meeting will be on Wednesday instead of Tuesday, September 6th, because of Labor Day.
Anybody, no, serious, anybody care about the repairs? The police department, we had to do the air conditioning mixed up. Toilets been broke twice, the doors are broke, the gazebo in the park. And we had to repair the masonry on the outside of the 88 building because on the driving rain, it was going inside the building, down the wall. So they went down and touched the wall, pointed it all out. That's all I had.
So Parks and Rec, we had public participation at our meeting, and that was by Keith Park, and he addressed it as a Volkswagen enthusiast, and he's proposing that a Type 3 Volkswagen Invasion show be held at Bicentennial Park on Father's Day weekend in 2020. That particular model of Volkswagen was only produced for a short time and is no longer in production. Okay. Well, this guy's really enthusiastic. This event has been held at various locations around the country every 2 years. The Volkswagen owners would arrive in the area on Thursday and Friday for sightseeing, and the show would be at 9 to 5 on Saturday. This would be a free event and involve 30 to 35 players from all over the country. And owners from outside the United States have also been able to attend. The committee was very receptive to the proposal of Mr. Park, and we're curious why Ticonderoga is being considered for this event. There's a reason for it. Mr. Park lives in the Clifton Park area and is the son of Moira Smith and the grandson of Mason Smith. A little bit of history. And the committee recommends that this event be permitted. The Trestle Bridge is another story. There is concerns about the present condition of the Trestle Bridge, which is enjoyed by many walkers and gives safe access from Lake George Avenue and Alexandria Avenue for local children going to and from the elementary school and the high school. Boards have been or need replacement, and it appears that more work may be required to maintain the safety of this bridge. The repair cost could range from $12,000 to $20,000. A regular maintenance schedule should be developed, and selecting who would do the necessary work should be determined. The committee suggests Assistance is needed from Essex County and the Corps of Engineers. Pride was instrumental in the original conversion of the trestle to a pedestrian bridge and should also be included in plans for the future plans for the bridge. There was also a request for a picnic table in the park area on the west side of the bridge, and we'll get there. It's cheaper to go up there. On the 4th of July, there were no plans for park facilities reported during the 4-day event. It was proposed that water extension cords or whatever they call them would be properly covered where they present tripping or falling hazard for visitors that are in during large events in the park. The children's playground should not be blocked from the children's safe access to this free activity. Water and electric lines should not be displayed. There was a line through there. St. Mary's Playground. The sadness is St. Mary's feels that the playground should be removed. And Mark was approached by St. Mary's regarding potential interest in playground equipment. I did go over and look at it, and the pieces would work for our two playgrounds, other than the swings, the smaller slide, and the insect climb, placed either at the beach or the armory grounds. And I told Mark that he could convey what we feel with her. Our policies booklet, this is a big deal. He gave us that job. We're just about done. We had a draft, we looked at draft piece at the last meeting. And at the September meeting, we'll have a booklet ready for board approval. And its specific policies are included for Bicentennial Park, Black Point Beach, Recreation Area, and Veterans Park. And one thing I think we need to, having been watching kids in town lately, I think we need to include electric bikes and battery powered scooters rather in this document, because it's becoming a problem. Kids are using them a lot and not using them safely. Our next meeting will be next Tuesday, August 15th.
Economic development, there was no meeting, and due to some obligations of the RI committee members and getting projects submitted in New York State. So there's no minutes. I do have a resolution last month. TAC and the IDA came and briefed us on the microgrant program. You've had time to review that. I know we had some questions last time when they came. But I did a resolution to authorize the creation of the Ticonderoga Microgrant Enterprise Program, which will use $50,000 with occupancy tax monies to assist Ticonderoga business entities, tourism related, and looking to expand services, inventory, and resources in accordance with the Ticonderoga grant guideline and policy, and designating Essex County IDA as the administrator of that program. I will move that. Any discussion on that?
I like to get the word out. This is the chamber.
Yeah, it'll mostly be through Chamber, Essex County, and some other social media avenues. And of course, the Chamber is heavily involved in the business. They already know individuals who would participate in this program. So, all right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried. And we'll move on to highway.
Okay, we met on the 25th. William Morris from Kennedy Drive came first for the speed solution on Kennedy Drive and Birchwood Drive. It was discussed a lot of we could put speed bumps and increase the patrols, but the main part was they were John Deming said that the Mountain Lake Services, he's on the board, and I guess that's the biggest problem up there. Is the people from Mountain Lake Services are the problem, and Adam is going to increase the patrols up there, and John is going to talk to Mountain Lakes about doing something about that. Tanya free dump days. They are concerned at the transfer station about a compactor, and they might not be able to get trailers in. The trailers are really old, and they're trying to replace the old trailers. I would like to know if we are continuing in this year. Mark asked Sal if we could support the dump days. And Sal said what Tanya is saying, they're worried about them coming in and switching the trailers when full, because the trailers they have are old and are replacing them little by little. Mark suggested that we keep the 3 days and gamble on the problem. Tanya said if everyone agrees, they would set it up August 29th, 30th, and 31st, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And Sal suggested that we talk about at some point about giving the taxpayers a free one ticket a year to, instead of pinning down the highway department for 3 days. All agreed on the dates and listed above for the free dump days. Sal will come up with a backup plan just in case it is needed. Joyce asked Sal if there's any way we can use the millings to fix the beach parking lot. Sal said something we can look into. And I asked him about paving the police station entrance. It's really bad. And he said, once I finish Mount Defiance, we will see what we have left for money to move forward. He is working on sidewalks on Amherst, and he will continue to then go over to Lake George after that. We're trying to keep track of the money spent to see how much farther we can go this year. And Mark asked about St. Clair's water problem. Did it drain faster the last time? Sal said maybe the same amount of time we have found behind Mr. Cassie's property where it is coming through the bank. I rented an excavator to go in there and follow the water stream, scratch into the bank to try to find a pipe and clear it to see what happens. And the meeting was adjourned at 9:43.
Can I just mention, if you would, the dates for the free dump days have been pushed out again. We're more concerns that have been brought up about the transfer station, so right now it's tentatively on the first week of October. But that would be something to be in the paper, it's not in the bridge, but
It's just 3 days.
All right, thank you. This facility.
Pretty simple, we did not have a meeting this month. We're waiting on some information back from engineers. So that's being for a meeting this coming month. There will be scheduled the fourth Monday of the month at 18:30.
And public safety.
Okay, we met on the 25th. The Adam Department calls and service, he had, 337 calls, incident reports 33, arrests 26, uniform traffic tickets 41, DWIs arrests 2, accidents investigated 14. All the arrests are in the attached minutes. The police department is seeking a board resolution to approve purchasing body cameras with a docking station and cloud storage. Motorola Solutions in the amount of $16,807. This will be completely funded by awarded DCJS grant money for body cameras. Can we make that resolution now?
We already approved the finance manager.
Oh, I'll have it there.
Oh, that's what we're doing.
Okay. There's one.
I'll handle the resolution. I'll let this in.
Okay.
So, code enforcement has been coordinating with Matt and myself on a property at Wilson Bay. It's when I brought this up before, the property is owned by the railroad, believe that the property is owned by the Fort Ticonderoga Association. He code inspected it, he provided a recommendation to the board that he declared an unsafe building. I think before we can do that, the town board has to form a resolution stating that it is unsafe and directing the code enforcement to, in accordance with local law 4/2022, to execute that process, basically sending letters to the property owner or owners, determining that it's not safe and during its demolition and removal. That's the resolution I have put on the floor. Matt, did you see his
I
information?
did, I looked at the report of the meeting here today, I was curious about the properties owned by D&H Railway Corporation.
Right.
And reviewed property deeds revealed that the structure may be owned by the Port Tie Association.
I don't know how that happens.
Yeah, you either.
And so when the town contacts both parties, I'm just waiting to see who's gonna take action on that. The railroad did contact us, Canadian Pacific contacted us. Because they wanted information on the property. And when the assessor looked that up, this is the information that she found about partial ownership of structure versus property. They like that. It's right on the lake, and when the lake level's high, it's in the lake.
Yeah, I'll look at the deed. Yeah.
Okay. Let's do that resolution. If you want to look at the deed, I can postpone that, because it will basically be the town directing codes to declare it unsafe and send letters. So
Right.
I'm gonna,
You want to do that in the finance?
I'll move it to finance. If it's not done by finance, we'll move it to the next board meeting.
I'll follow up with Dave.
Done that.
Yes,
Okay. Vote, that they issue 10 building permits, 2 safety inspections, order to remedy 4 and remedy 2. And they had 5 complaints and 2 were resolved.
okay. Public Works minutes are attached from the July 25th meeting. We have 3 resolutions. First, the resolution to increase the billing account for 18 Windy Point Lane, Lane Fitzgerald, 2 EDU sewer and 2 OLM sewer. See is around in another property. Need a motion on that, please?
So move.
So,
Discussion? All in favor? Carried. Second, a resolution to declare a 2010 S650 Bobcat skid steer as surplus from the wastewater department.
I'll move it.
Go ahead. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Resolution to put a 2010 S50 Bobcat skid steer out to bid with a reserve of $16,000 from the wastewater department.
I'll move it. I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, now we'll move into youth.
happy to announce that we have a new recreation, I'm not sure what his official title is, director? Direct supervisor, thank you. His name is James Chauncey, and before coming to us, he worked for the Boys and Girls Club in Rutland, Vermont. He has a degree in recreation. He's also a licensed certified lifeguard, and has run after-school programs as well as worked with summer camp for youth. So he's very well qualified, and he's on the job already and is ready to get going. So I'm very happy to have him on board. And that's basically what our meeting was all about, is having a meet and greet with James.
3 resolutions tonight.
Okay. A resolution to accept with regret the resignation of Carter Belden as camp counselor in the summer program effective on August 3rd, 2020.
I'll move that.
All in favor? Carried.
A resolution to advertise for a youth program let me read this right. Advertise for youth program activity attendant positions, part-time, on call, no benefits, but it's a mouthful. And these are basically people who are working after school program.
I'll second. All in favor? Opposed?
And resolution to remove Sean Ross as petty cash officer for youth programs and add James Chauncey as the new petty cash officer. And by the way, his offices will be at the Armory.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, anything for seniors tonight?
Seniors did have a meeting, though I have not seen their minutes as of yet. I can tell you that they did have a guest speaker from the port. It was informative, nice for the seniors. They are having a luncheon on the Walk Through St. Sacramento this month for anybody that's interested. I can't remember the date right now off the top of my head, but it is listed, I think, and anybody that's interested, I think it's $51 a person or something like that to go on that cruise. It's a one-time cruise, and that's what the seniors have going on this month.
Thank you. Don't have anything for health or contract. One charter communications announcement. This letter of service notice that on or around August 15th, 2023, Spectrum Northeast LLC will cease the alternative SEC network feed on the channel 9 serving your community. So, into financial resolutions, first grouping here. Resolution authorizing the following budget transfers, funding increased costs from contingency. The balance after the transfer will be $24,787.55. $536.02 going to building general cleaning supplies, $175.31 on playground rec. Next grouping is funding increased costs from contingency for sewer. Balance after the transfer is $9,258.13. $110.18 going to sewage treatment disposal electric. Next is funding increased cost from contingency balance. Water, the balance after transfer is $14,514.94. And coming out of that is $23.25 going to water administration contractual electric. And the last one is to transfer funds from capital reserve to purchase the new truck for water wastewater, and that's the amount of $3,210 going to Patriot Pay. And I need a motion on that grouping.
I'll move it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Next group, resolution authorizing the following budget adjustments. First is funding accounts by highway fund balance for additional funding of $38,506.37. This is for snow removal, highway, road, and trails. And funding account by sewer fund balances to cover repair and increased costs. The amount of $2,390.14 for sewage treatment disposal and $8,331.51 for sewage treatment disposal and sewer electric. And final group here is funding account by water fund balance for additional costs, $4,926.34 for source of supply power, and another $3,277.18 for transferring district water system materials and supplies. And a motion on that group.
I'll move it.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is this for the septage that we're taking, additional septage for the summer, the $8,000? Or is that repairs? Like,
So, 8,331.
Yeah. It's
There's several repairs.
sewage treatment and disposal sewer electric, I didn't know what that.
I don't think it was from subdivision.
No, but the electric accounts on all of the town, weekend,
We're going over budget.
July, we're going over budget on all of that.
On the electric, on the meter, yeah, okay.
But it'll be more than,
Costs are high for electric. Can I do it all? Here we Okay. Any other discussion on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, next. Resolution authorizing the following interfund transfer. This is to transfer funds from general to the Eagle Lake Water Project in the amount of $332.50.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. A resolution authorizing the following interfund loans. This is to transfer funds from general to airport apron project until funding is received. That is in the amount of $29,502.21. And then to transfer funds from general to airport pavement project until funding is received. And that is in the amount of $12,599.86.
I'll move it.
Second, go ahead, Tom. Tom, too, give them a chance to, Tom, too.
whoever I heard first.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I've sent you all some proposed dates for budget workshops. I've heard back from most of you. As I said here, one of those. We'll see if that even, if we can have to go that far for now. So I have a resolution on scheduling the following budget workshops with any other lawful business, and those dates are for workshop 1, August 16th at 8 a.m. Workshop 2 on August 31st at 8 a.m. Workshop 3, September 5th at 1 p.m. Workshop 4, September 7th at 8 a.m. Workshop 5, September 12th at 8 a.m. Workshop 6 on September 19th at 1 p.m. and Workshop 7 on October 19th at 1 p.m. and finally Workshop 8 on October 25th at 8 p.m. Move that. Okay. That's something. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Alrighty. I have a resolution to accept the minutes of the July 13th, 2023 regular town board meeting and July 27th, 2023 finance meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Resolution to pay the abstract.
Move that.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. We have consent. Resolution to accept supervisor's report as submitted.
I'll move it.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Do you have anything?
No, I think we're all wrong.
Matt, do you have anything? You wanted, we're looking.
No, we're good to handle the consolidation for.
So everything is set going forward. So far we've done it all right. Alright, so we have those two public hearings to talk about that. Okay, if there's nothing else from the board, we'll go to public comment. Anybody from the public?
Could put an update on the water project for children in the lake.
Sure.
But we did have that, all the people were watching on TV. So we continued our correspondence with, the conversations with the New York State Environmental Facilities Board, we call that EFC, and the EPA, and the Department of Health, to try to find a funding resolution, to help advance, potential test well for water service for that area of town. So, those conversations continue week to week. Don't have a good solution yet to try to access funds. But remember back to last month, people that the big is as a junk guy, you can't borrow significant sums for taxes and grant funds until you district. And the public's been pointing at the important thing. It's hard to advance the mapping for a district, I think, until you have meetings. You know, and question for that. So, and to get there, what they have to getting those numbers we have is a supply, the test well. Drilling one with the test well, maybe one that shows them, you know, the engineers and hydrologists, spoken as that we to consider. And again, that, you know, like if we got $200,000 to advance that far. So we, you know, diligently trying to find a way to access. People are trying to get, you know, got a significant pool of grant funds, $3 million from EFC, symbolic, $1 million last year, December, January 2023, EPA awarded through EFC. So we've got significant grant pool that have advancing, but again, all of those programs generally require you to have a district. So can't get the money, so you have a district. Can't get a district until we can show the taxpayer what the project's going to cost. Again, completely understandable. So we continue those discussions. You know, haven't given up. I'm still trying everything we can to access those funds. Recently, last week, I did a conversation with ESC. Hopefully, probably might get back from them this week. I think they're, you know, put thought into how to possibly access any through EFC, maybe congressionally directed funding from councils or the disadvantaged community funding that was the EPA, the EFC award is the EFC 1.3 million. You know, my hope is that 3 million seems to be the one that might have some flexibility. Again, stress seems to be because the terms of how they're all that. So again, just working to try to find a solution for the.
So, what is the time frame, or maybe the tipping point? How long do we kind of push to find some funding before we move ahead with the map plan report without having that detail? There's got to be a date at some point that pushes where if we can't get the test wells drilled, and we still need to move forward because we have to move forward. We can't just do nothing.
Yep.
We're going to run out of time. So, I mean, do we have enough field or we kind of need to kind of fish or cut bait or cut bait or fish?
I mean, realistically, you're to get sure. So we can dance your right. No, there are reasons. Do what we're doing. I think probably sometimes we be significant assumption to have, you know, and we love without the test ball data, which means that the engineers are supply big estimates, you know. As much as we could to give as we can. You know, it's based on, you know, any and you know, get to that, you got engineering, you know, usually that's part of it. It seems Greg and China here. Advice that you're getting from the hydrologist and hydrogen, sorry. And ABS, you know, is that the test wells will give you the number to know, you know, did you have one system, did you have a combination of systems, and that, you know, big cost being the pipe in between. And there's a solution in Eve Lake and Chilson that cuts down the pipe costs. That's a significant, speak for great. Talked about in head meetings, at the water super meetings. That's a significant savings. So, yeah. So you may end up doing that, having something that you're in two systems, and one is costing AES plot. Yeah. Just
That could require all new infrastructure.
Yeah, the pipe that's there is too big, so,
It's probably not in good shape either.
you know, it's in rough shape, but the bigger problem is it's too big, you can't use that much, your water quality is so bad by the time you have to last people.
I don't know what cost up.
Ultimately, FM district,
oh, yeah, whatever.
it's either. First.
Even
Those test wells are all on, right?
So you
No, I don't mean getting the pipe, if they're gonna be adequate.
get down.
Yeah.
We get the district board. Not getting.
The saving grace of the test wells for this is we're looking for so much less water than you are for like what we did before, you're looking for relatively small amounts of water, so, you know, it's, obviously, you don't know if they drill it, but at least it's a little bit easier in that sense.
And then you know, recalling back to the information that the hydrogeologist gave you, they did do some preliminary research, you know, figuring out what wells were in the area already.
Yes.
Who's getting water, so there was evidence, you know, pretty good supply to your point. Until you those test wells, you know, and that's the.
Was that test well they did over on, Rob, did that?
So what was wrong with that? So I went over that with Bob from the hydrologist, and he said that, well, he doesn't recommend pursuing that area one that's good enough. He didn't think even if you developed it more, it'd be good enough there, but he uses the map to base it on the other properties. And we would do another round of review before we drill any holes anyway, but even that engineering is expensive enough that spend money to get grant for it. Fortunately, everything is expensive. Other than that,
And we're visiting the water sewer this month, like we just keep the things along.
Could you use the divide rods?
We did. Thinking we got garbage, I could be on the posted website for nature, but DOJ did respond when I provided the update last week. Thank you very much for the update. We had that June 25 date. Kind of,
That was the end of the letter.
probably the most important statement in the letter.
And a list of fines if we don't.
Yeah.
They're still there.
They're still there too.
Okay.
Is this still public comment on this or not?
Yeah, you
Okay, so right now, so there has been, in order to even talk about renegotiating the consent decree, the board has to instruct the lawyer to do that, correct? And you're not going to do that.
that would be correct.
Okay. So since you're not going to do that, part of the reason I came here tonight is I will notify our attorney tomorrow, and we'll start the class action lawsuit. Just to let you know, it's going to happen.
Appreciate that.
It's going to happen. All right.
I'll note, since that was noted on the record, you know, it's one taxpayer, maybe and a general. So the cost of fighting the lawsuit, it's going to be both districts and the users in Chilton and Eagle Lake. So I'll say that. So the public should know that that is going to be funded. That's funds.
And the reconnecting gooseneck to the main district, it's done.
Well, we'll have to see, but like you said, you're not going to negotiate, so, you're talking, it's going to cost the public. I think you have people that are happy, you're talking about the developers that are talking about help. So we're going to go ahead and go forward with the lawsuit. I'll let the lawyer know on it.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah.
Anybody else from the public? All right. All right, we are adjourned at 8:07.
19.
Well, that's on my computer.
Yeah.